Hi, I'm Rabbi Ariel Rackovsky. Welcome back to another edition of Tefilah Tuesdays. We continue our discussion of the Shemoneh Esrei. Before we discuss the very first bracha, there is a pasuk that we say as a preface to the Shemoneh Esrei. Hashem sifasai tiftach, God please open up my lips, ufi yagid tehilasecha, and my mouth will say your praises. It's interesting that we say this because, in general, there is a requirement of what's called smichat geula litfilah. That the bracha of Gaal Yisrael, at least in Shacharis, is supposed to be immediately juxtaposed without any kind of interruption to the Shemoneh Esrei. And the Gemara already asks this question: how is it that the recitation of this verse is not what's called a hefsek, an unwarranted interruption for the Shemoneh Esrei? And the Gemara answers that Rabbi Yochanan instituted this pasuk. Rabbi Yochanan says that it is Tefilah arichta damya, that it is actually considered to be part of the Shemoneh Esrei. It's important to note that it was Rabbi Yochanan himself that instituted the requirement of smichas geula l'tfilah. And actually, one particular modern scholar, Professor Uri Ehrlich, unearthed a document that had a very, very lengthy introduction to Shemoneh Esrei with all sorts of different prayers and different psukim, and the one pasuk that was left from that entire introduction is Hashem sefasai tiftach ufi yagid tehilasecha ki shem Hashem ekra havugodel Elokeinu, which we recite during Musaf and Mincha as well. That was part of it as well. So that pasuk is considered to be part of the structure of the Tefilah. But what is it doing there? What is it trying to say? What is the purpose of saying this pasuk every single time that we say the Shemoneh Esrei? There is a Mishnah in Pirkei Avos. The famous Mishnah tells us al shlosha dvarim ha'olam omed, al haTorah, the al ha'avoda, the al gemilus chasadim. There are three pillars upon which the world rests. Torah, understand that, Torah study. Avoda refers to prayer. Tefilah, avoda shebelev, and gemilus chasadim, and acts of kindness. What does avoda mean? Rabbeinu Yonah, in his commentary on Pirkei Avos, explains that there are certain times and there are certain places that are particularly appropriate, that are for Tefilah, and that are privileged above others. So, for example, Eretz Yisrael has Kedusha, has sanctity that is greater than all of the other nations, all the other locations in the world. Of all the places in Eretz Yisrael, Yerushalayim has the greatest sanctity. In Yerushalayim, there is what's called Tzion, that is the Makom HaMikdash, the place of the Mikdash. And in there is the Kodesh HaKodashim, the site of the Holy of Holies, that is the holiest nexus in the world. And that is the place where all of the blessings come forward. Now, we have Tzion, that is the place of holiness. And that was the place that people would go and they would offer sacrifices. But now we don't have that option. Hashem sefasai tiftach, that is a pasuk written by David HaMelech in Tehillim. And it was written in the context of his egregious sin with Bathsheba, one that he did in which he caused her husband to die, took her as his own wife, one that he did willingly and knowingly. And there is no such thing as a korban that is able to be brought as reparation. The only thing that one can do in that kind of situation, when there is no korban, is to pray. And we have the exact analogous situation. We don't have the ability to bring korbanos. We don't have the ability to bring sacrifices. And so, the only thing that we have is Tefilah. And we say, Hashem sefasai tiftach, God, please open up our mouths, ufi yagid tehilasecha, accept our Tefilah, accept our prayer, even if perhaps it is not the ideal situation, even if there were other ways for us to achieve the similar outcome, please accept our prayers. Please accept that instead. Another commentator, the Rashbatz, one of the Rishonim on Pirkei Avos, says that there is a different purpose to this prayer, and that is Hashem Sfasai Tiftach. God, please help me organize my prayers, organize my thoughts about what I need to daven about, what I need to praise you about. Help me get that in order before I approach you. And so this is the beginning. Before we begin all of Shemoneh Esrei, we have to think about why we are here. What is Shemoneh Esrei about? What is it that we are praising God about? What do we want to talk to God about today? And this pasuk is a way of focusing our thoughts and helping us think about what it is that we want to get out of this Tefilah experience. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time.